What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about CCIV. We're going to talk about Nio, Palantir, and Tesla. Four of the biggest stocks in the market right now, moving up and down, man. It's just been a crazy day, honestly. But before we hop into that, we ask you guys hit that sub button. It is honestly the best way to help us grow the channel. We really appreciate all the support we've gotten so far. Again, we're trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the month, and we only got 7 days left. So if you guys could help us do that, it'd be much appreciated. Let's see if we can smash that goal. Also, Discord, filling up. Man, I tell you what, the community we got over there is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Whole bunch of chat going on. We got people talking about the stocks, stocks they're watching. We kind of just have a general chat and everyone's just having a good time. If you guys want in that, head over to our Patreon. We got in the link in the description. You guys can go over there. We got a limited supply of $1 Patreons that get you into that Discord for $1. They're selling like hotcakes over there. So if you want in, you know what to do. Get over there.
And
or don't.
You also get access to the you also get access to our portfolio too. That's up like over 60%. In like
yeah, you get access
months.
to the portfolio, which is blowing up like crazy. Whole bunch of good stuff. I think the best part's the community. Everyone over there is fantastic. We appreciate everybody. But without further ado, let's give it some razzle dazzle and hop into it, man. So let's start off the day with CCIV, the one banger that is just doesn't stop banging, man.
Yeah, so CCIV is just blasting off today. It's up 11.5%. It was up more, pulled back a little bit, but the reason for this is just there's more reports of them coming out with making a deal as possibly as early as tomorrow, which that's just going to send this thing to the moon. But the valuation would be like $15 billion for Lucid.
Right.
That's previously up from the $12 billion reported last week. But yeah, this thing is it's just to the moon.
Yeah, so, I mean, with this thing taking off, Churchill Capital is looking to raise an additional $1 billion to $1.5 billion to finance the merger. So with them getting close to announcing this on Tuesday, I think that's going to just keep raising the stock farther up and up. We're kind of pulling back to where we ended. I don't want to say ended on Friday, but, we're still up, obviously, 11.5%. But if we look at the chart real quick, it's definitely a good thing, to see that it's up. Tomorrow, I think this thing's going to just keep going because of the fact of them possibly announcing that merger. So we'll see what happens there. If we look at Fintel, there are, again, we've reported this on, I think it was yesterday or the day before. All these stock companies, all these big companies buying back in, buying more stocks of CCIV. Clearly, all the green ones are the good new investors. That's what you want to see. So honestly, I feel like this thing is just going to keep blasting off, and I can't wait to see where this thing takes us.
Yeah, the amount of shares that they're buying is nuts. Like 2 million, 4 million. It's just a lot of them are in the millions of shares. So it's just going to keep blasting off. CCIV got up to like 63 something earlier today before the pullback. So, yeah, I think if they do a deal tomorrow or whenever a deal comes out, it doesn't even have to be tomorrow. I think it's going to go up to $100 or at least close to $100. So that's just gonna be huge gains right there.
Right. Well, hopefully, we'll keep an eye on it. If anything new comes out about it, we'll send that news your way. But we'll keep an eye on it for now. But let's go ahead and hop over to Nio, man. So Nio, this one's kind of it's like the problem child right now. I don't know what this thing's doing. Nobody knows what this thing's doing. It was up pre-market on Friday, and now it's obviously down 5%, but that's like the whole market in general. Obviously not down 5%, but all of the EVs are just down today, and it's just a bad day to own an EV stock, to be honest. But honestly, this provides
just tech in general.
Yeah, it provides another great buying opportunity. I wanted to show you guys some charts that I look at, and if we look at these charts, this is how I kind of base some of my buys on stocks, like whether or not to buy them or enter into these stocks. If we look, let me go ahead and get rid of my capture device real quick so you guys can see. So if we see this chart right here, so we have the RSI, we have the moving average 50-day, and then the 200-day moving average, and then we have the STO. So basically this tells me on how or when to enter a stock. So basically I want the RSI, which is the relative strength index, to be around the midpoint. This tells you that it's being oversold. So the stock is being oversold, pushing it down, and every time we see Nio hit this middle point, it seems to blast off. And we're going below that, so that tells me that we are setting ourselves up for a perfect buying opportunity to buy into Nio, and it's ready for blast off. We're pushing below that 50-day moving average, which You want to try to stay above. And again, if we look at it, hits the 50-day, boom, bumps up. Gets closer to it, boom, bumps up. So that's another good thing. And then if we look down at the STO, this is another thing. You wanted this to stay about halfway. So every single time that this hits that lower STO range, it just off to the races, man. Every single time. Every single time. So to me, Nio is at a perfect buying opportunity, perfect buying point. You know, we have earnings coming up in March, you know, 6-7 days away from now. So another, you know, again, another great buying opportunity. It'd be, I'm really hoping this thing just blasts off within the next, you know, given couple days.
Yeah, I think as we get closer, as I keep saying, I think Wednesday will be, I don't know, just my guess of when it's going to start blasting off. So just because it's like 2-3 days before actual earnings, so we'll see. Like you said, the whole kind of sector is down today in general, but I think as we get closer to earnings, it's just gonna, you know, blast off because everyone's gonna be getting in before their awesome earnings. So
right, I'm really hoping Nio pushes the upper 50s before earnings, so we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. Yeah. But if any news comes out again with this, again, we'll pass it your guys' way like we always do. Also, let's go ahead and hop over to Tesla, man. Tesla, another one down for the day. Not looking too hot, but there was a little bit of news coming out with Tesla this morning.
Yeah, so like you said, it's down again. I think for the month it's down like 15%, which is pretty unfortunate. But so the news that came out, the base Model Y was it was launched last month at just shy of $42,000, and then on Thursday it cut its price by $2,000. And then Sunday, Tesla pulled it completely from its website. So they're just, I'm assuming, just not even offering it anymore. And if you guys remember back in July, Elon said that they would not make the standard range Model Y because its range would be too low. And its range is 244 miles. So right. Elon just says that's too low. But they decided to, you know, start selling it for a little bit, and then now it's not being sold. But Thursday, they also cut the price of its base Model 3 by $1,000 as well. But they also raised the price of its Model 3 and Y performance variants by $1,000. So, yeah, they cut prices a little bit, but then also kind of made up that price difference with their performance, you know, models. There is a industry-wide shortage, or a chip shortage, which could be forcing Tesla to cut production. And I mentioned this in a previous video. I believe it was GM. They were going to close one or two of their plants for like a week or two, but then they decided that it's going to have to be the rest of this month because of a chip shortage.
Right.
So that could be affecting them as well.
Right.
But then also Biden's stimulus package could include tax credits, which could be delaying purchases, and just people could be waiting, you know, for the other stimulus check to, you know, for more money to buy. But yeah, Kathy Wood from ARK is still confident in Tesla, and they actually bought 72,000 more shares yesterday.
Right. Yeah, if we look at that over here on this chart, you can clearly see that they're still definitely interested in Tesla. It's one of their biggest holdings as well. So to me, this gives me more confidence in Tesla that it's just, you know, it's just an overall market kind of thing. I don't know if it's a correction. I don't really know, you know. No one really knows, but with these big institutions, all these big companies still buying in, that gives me confidence in the companies. I don't see any kind of crash in the EV industry, obviously, because these companies are not going to be buying in just to lose money. So with ARK buying in, that gives me a lot of confidence right there as well.
There was a guy in our Discord, actually, shout out, a little plug for our Discord. He mentioned that, you know, there's just like a shift right now with tech, and a lot of the stocks that are going up right now are like the cruise lines and the airlines. So I looked up like Spirit and like Norwegian Cruise Line, you know, Spirit Airline, Norwegian Cruise Line, for just to look at those sectors real quick, and they were both up like 8-9% for today. So there's just like a little shift in what people are buying in right now, which, I mean, this happens all the time. It happened a few months ago as well.
Right. A
lot of people were buying up those stocks because, you know, once the economy starts really opening up better, COVID's more under control, those stocks are going to be the ones that blast off because they haven't recovered from COVID yet.
Right.
And so.
Right.
they got a lot of room to blast off.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and I'm hoping you know, obviously just the whole EV in general just starts to blast off, but we'll keep an eye on it. And anything new that comes out with Tesla, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna send it your guys' way. That's what we're here for. But the last stock of the day that we're gonna talk about is Palantir. Palantir is probably one of the hottest stocks on the market right now. The volume on this is ridiculous, up in the hundreds, 143 million range or so. This thing is getting so much attention and news, it's unbelievable. So Goldman Sachs had an analyst that raised their price target from $13 to $34, and currently, if we look at Palantir right now, it's sitting at about $28. So that is a huge gain. That's a huge growth from where we're sitting now. I do think this would be a great buying opportunity, great buying point, especially with if we look at the chart, you know, the pullback for the last couple days has been, you know, it ran up and then it just slowly pulled back to 28. You know, we were up in the 30s. So I do think this is a great buying point. And again, you know, I bought in a little bit more this morning too. So I want to lower that cost basis and, you know, average in. So
yeah. And if you go back to the month, didn't we get all the way up to 40 something?
Yeah, up to 45. So we can clearly
yeah.
test that again, you know, at any given time, or, you know, more news. So this is kind of like the same thing again. Kathy Wood out of ARK, she's buying more. She has faith in Palantir. I do as well. I think this would be a great company to own. This is definitely a long-term hold, not a short-term play. But again, you know, Goldman Sachs upping their price target of $34, which is fantastic news. Basically, that analyst had faith in the Q4 earnings because the revenue growth was 47%. So that's massive. And if we go ahead and just hop over to these real quick and look, you know, for Palantir, ARK, you know, buying more shares like they always do, and, you know, just buying up on Friday. We'll get more data today once it refreshes after market close. But that's fantastic news if you are looking into Palantir. We call it Palantir over here as a joke. But if you're looking into Palantir, you know, this is definitely a good time to look into it if you're considering buying. Also, it's getting a lot of traction over on Wall Street Bets too, man. So we know what Wall Street Bets did with GameStop. We know what they did with AMC. I'm not saying that's going to be the situation here, but with it getting a lot of traction over there, that's definitely another good thing, you know, bring more investors in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I am in it. Chad, I know you're in it as well. I know
this is a long today since it was red.
Yep. Definitely long-term hold for us.
Yep.
But that's going to wrap up today's video. If you guys like this kind of content, hit that like, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. Again, it helps us grow the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the month. So if you guys can help us do that, hit that sub button. We really appreciate it. And again, if you guys want into Discord, hop over to the Patreon. It's in the link in the description. We only got a few spots left for the $1 spot. We only had 15 available, and there's a couple of them already taken up. So again, if you want over there, join the great community. It's an awesome place. A lot of learning. And just a lot of people just making friends, man. So if you guys want in it, you know what to do. And that wraps up the video. We'll see you in the next one.